We as human beings form an impression about somebody else in as little as 5 seconds. All right. Now, what makes it scarier is that that impression I form of you, or that you form of a person in 5 seconds, is extremely resistant to change. We hang on to it.
Love is considered a fundamental human need, essential for our well-being and survival. Movies and television have portrayed this for decades. The portrayal of modern dating in media has shifted significantly over the last few decades, breaking old taboos of finding your soulmate, and featuring stories that often center around how modern technology, including modern dating, impacts relationships.
I miss you.
I miss you too, Colin.
How'd we get here anyway?
The year was 1965. The space race was in full force. Civil rights movements took place, and Operation Match, a computer dating service, was launched. Since then, hundreds of companies have capitalized of the innate human desire. 1995, Match.com. 2012, Tinder, Grindr, and Hinge, an app meant to be deleted. And even dating apps specifically designed for teens. Because of these apps, the dating pool has expanded into a dating ocean. These singles of society were no longer limited to meeting potential partners in their local bars, schools, or coffee shops. They could have met Mary from Chicago, Steve from Portland, or even Daniel from Barcelona. This begs the question, with more options and a larger dating pool, this constant rejection must affect mental health. To help find the answer, I connected with Dr. Regan Gurung, a well-known professor with a PhD in social psychology. Dr. Gurung has published multiple books and papers, and I was lucky enough to learn how modern dating has affected users' mental health.
Apps in general are addictive, and now when you combine that with dating, you see even more possibilities for addiction because of the availability of options and choices. And just like many other app usage, the usage of many other apps, there is feedback and reward from using these apps. Notice in all of what I just said, it's leaving out the companionship and the social support and the people. It's all about the app. Once you layer in companionship and people and all those other things that drive individuals, then the picture gets a whole more complex. It is very easy to manipulate your profile to create a persona that may not actually reflect who you are. It's interesting you use the word self-esteem because that is one of the biggest factors in a lot of the studies. So there have been research studies on Tinder, on Grindr, on Hive, all these different apps. And one of the factors that seems to come up most often is self-esteem enhancement. So you're absolutely right on, is the kind of feedback that you get when people select you, when they swipe your way, as it were. It's a self-esteem building function. And I think that now takes you even beyond the I'm looking for companionship, I'm looking for support, I'm looking for company. It's the I'm looking for this buffer to my self-esteem. And so that's absolutely one of the key psychological factors that are playing a role in there. So unfortunately what's happening is as more people, and to tie back to your earlier question, as more people link their self-esteem to this more, automatically what that means is when something goes wrong, the impact on their self-esteem could be much larger. I also want to make a little distinction between, you use the word swiping. What a lot of the research on dating apps is showing is that there are some significant differences between scrolling behaviors and swiping behaviors, and that dopamine rush is coming a lot more from the swiping behaviors, not as much from the scrolling behaviors. Let's say there's one person who's comfortable with intimacy and one's not. Especially in an online situation, that incompatibility is a recipe for disaster. One of the biggest solutions, always keeping their pulse on their feelings and their thoughts. Not enough of us take enough time to really take that time to go, what do I want? What do I really care? And far too often we get caught up in this is what people are doing, all right? This is what most people seem to be doing on this app, therefore it's okay. But those thoughts are often wrong. That's we have fake, our sense of the world isn't always accurate, and something I've been talking a lot with my class even this term more than before is I think we all need to give ourselves some space to think. And you're not going to have space to think. Notice I didn't say space to study or space to this, space to think. And thinking happens when you're not distracted. We so don't want to face the here that we dive into the phone, we dive onto the screen. Just give yourself space to think.